let's do this. Let's get back into another character creation session. And the number generator says... Oh, whoops, hold on. 64 because there's 64 classes. Bam, number 10. An engaging and immersive story. Come over here, you go to classes, and we got number 10. So it's 8, 9, 10. Ooh, a high priest, fancy pants, religious man, or a woman, or anything, really, we don't know. I don't know. Who do you know? I don't know. Alright, high priest. Cleric on cleric action. Spicy. Know what I mean? That's some after hours kind of character creation right there. Of the high priest variety. I don't see anything crazy. But a high priest, so you are a heal bot. You are a healer, you are a buffer, you are the most healy of healy, the most high of healy, if you will. Alright, well let's pick out a race. Let's pick out a race. Let's pick out a race. What are we gonna do? Alright, high priest, what do you guys think? I think that I'm very loud at the moment. I apologize. I think that a high priest could be a lot of fun as an elf. But a high priest of the VEK, which are like Mayan, Aztec inspired, right? Mesoamerican. So like a high priest of that variety would be really fucking cool to do. Somewhere around more like a shaman, but still a high priest, very healy. I like it. Let's do that. Let's do a VEK. I think we've done both male and female VEK. I do believe. Yeah, because I used her picture, and I used the really creepy VEK guy, this one right here. I used him. So I've used both of those. However, if we're talking high priest, Mayan... yeah. Why does this give me the VEK feel of the evil high priest from El Dorado? I don't know why. That's what I'm getting. That is the picture of our high priest right there. Bam, we are a VEK. VEK is Mesoamerican. Inspired. Let's get a little notepad going up. Yes. All right. Bam. Okay. So we're going to make a high priest. So most likely, if I had to guess, this is going to be your like holy priest in WoW. It's going to be hard to do solo content, but you are going to be the fucking bomb when it comes to healing in groups and parties. Bless, possibly buffs, getting rid of debuffs, breaking curses, healing. So, you know, a lot of variety. It takes a certain person to really enjoy that. I don't know if I'm that person. I enjoy being the support. I enjoy helping people succeed. I enjoy enabling people. That seems like fun. However, I also want to be able to fucking drop an elbow. You know, bring the pain when I need to. So, I don't know if I would personally play a high priest. However, we are making one now, so let's get into it. Alright, so we are a male VEK. Boom. We are actually using this guy kind of when we start driving forward. And we are a high priest action. So we are high. The highest of priests. Right. Which is cleric primary... Cleric secondary, a little heal on heal action, if you know what I mean. So what are we doing with it though, huh? Sorry. We need a name. We've done this before, but let's just do a real quick. Let's do Aztec male names. There's a lot of I's and L's. What is that? Montezuma? I love it. We can call him Monty the Healer. Sold! Alright. He'll be Monty. Short for Montezuma. Which I don't know if I spelled that correctly. Even though I have the interwebs, M-O-T-E-Z-U-M-A. I did it. Alright. Old Monty. Alright, last name, we'll figure that out in a second. Let's kind of roll through this. We got Mesoamerican, we got High Priest. So old Monty boy here is a High Priest and more of a Mesoamerican. So we're talking not really it's hard because when I think shamanistic, I think more Native American. Which I mean, technically, aren't these guys Native Americans too? And you're talking about Aztecs and Mayans? I don't know, Mesoamericans, I guess. Like Native Central Americans? I don't really know the proper term. However, so Monty here, so he's going to raise up in the cleric. So he's obviously raised in the church. Safe assumption, especially if we're going the high priest in the end. So safe assumption, Monty was raised by the church. Not always good, not always bad. We could be a high priest that's the death domain the whole way. Which would be cool, because now when I think about Mayans and Aztecs, I think about human sacrifice, and I can't stop thinking about the bad guy from the Road to El Dorado, who was, you know, little stabby, sacrifice kind of guy. I think that's where we're at. I think Monty's one evil some bitch, and he doesn't think he's evil, right? He doesn't necessarily think he's evil. He just thinks that he's doing what his religion calls for, which is human sacrifice and the like. So not evil, still holy man of the cloth. Yeah, I like it. We're gonna go dark death domain. Specialization. I don't know if Notepad has spell check, so it's kind of what we're going with here. I like it. So Monty is actually no bueno in other terms, but in his culture, he's not bad, right? So this is weird. This is a cool, weird dynamic. It happens in real life over history when we try to understand cultures, but it also happens in these games, which I think cause a really cool dynamic in your group, whether it be a tabletop group or maybe you're, you know, in a group role playing in what could be a really badass role play situation in Ashes of Creation, which is the tavern setup. I heard talk that they might even let. Sorry, there was dust on top of my webcam. That's wild. They might even let voice comms come through in the tavern. I don't know if it's true. That's what I heard. I haven't really researched it, which is probably fake news, but that would be dope. But creating a really cool roleplay situation by really playing your characters and kind of doing your own mini D&D session in these tavern settings in this game could really build the role-playing community. And I think Intrepid Studios has done a badass way. They are doing a badass job. What seems like creating an environment where your PvPers, your PvEers, and your role players can kind of coexist in harmony, and I'm hoping that it ends up that way. But in that setting, playing somebody who to the outside world is inherently evil, but in his culture is actually the highest of high priest, holy man, driving the culture, things like that. I think that's a really cool take, and I think mentally you'd have to get yourself in a really special position to be able to roleplay that character. Alright, so we got Monty. Dark Death Domain Specialization. So Monty's raised in the church. He doesn't get sacrificed, which is good. Usually I'm assuming female VEKs or maybe beast or various other races. So we go through this whole thing of him growing up as a cleric. And I say death and dark domain not as much as like curse and all this stuff, but more of like a lot more blood involved, a lot more human life or life extinguishing involved, whether it's sacrificing animals or what have you, in order to appease the multiple gods of the VEKs. Excuse me. And then we know that they're very into astrology. So, you know, many nights, days, many moons, studying the stars beyond to judge the destiny of not only himself, but his acquaintances, his village, the land of Vera in general. Monty. The name, it ruins the aesthetic, but I don't care. I love it. Because if I was playing him and I had to be all serious and... For I am the high priest. I am at the head of the VEK temple. I read the stars. I consult with the chief. I go by Monty. Monty feels like a sleazy car salesman. I mean, Alright. So, I like stars, using stars. I think stars play into what the VEK are culturally, being so heavily reliant on astrological signs and motions and movements. Dark Star seems like more of a superhero. I feel like that's a superhero in Marvel or DC. Black Hole Sun. No. I like Star still. I do like Star. High Star. North Star. They wouldn't have the North Star. High Star? Star. Hello, Earth. Starshine says hello. Starshine says hello. Hello, Sun. Starshine. I don't know. Johnny Depp, Chocolate Factory. I don't remember. Monty. High Star, Holy Star, Starshine. Damn, can't come up with it, man. Oh, what about Blood Star? Blood, human sacrifices. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Star, astrological, so important to the VEK. So now, I mean, sacrifices being something that we kind of pull from that Mesoamerican feel. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not about the VEK. However, for the sake of this character, it is in fact true. And then star, astrological. Stars are very important, not only to most early cultures, but to the VEK faux show. Okay, so he grows up, right? He grows up all the way through the temple, through the religion, through the culture of the VEK, growing up to be a holy man. And as he continues about his way, he doesn't necessarily get called in the way of, he's not maybe built to be that the fighter out on the front lines for the VEK, or a ranger prowling through the woods, or maybe he wasn't gifted with the innate talent to sling spells with the best of them. He didn't really have those abilities, but what he did have was a devotion to the religion, the god, the job that was being a holy man. And as he got older, and as he performed his duties, and as he leveled up, and he got to level 25, a great turning point in his story, he decided to double down on the one thing that he's been good at his entire life, which was his devotion to this culture and to its religion, its religious systems, its belief systems. And by doubling down on it, he became a quote-unquote high priest. So he became the high priest of the VEK. So being a high priest of the VEK, it's gonna have, we're trying to give him a dark aesthetic, like this really like death priesty aesthetic, something that a lot of people would look at in a negative light. However, he's not necessarily evil. He's just simply dedicated to his craft, which may be fleshcraft. That's a little dark. Bloodcraft, still very dark. He's not a necromancer. He's a high priest, damn it. That's really hard to make like a... Because inherently when we think human sacrifice and blood and dark and stabby stab, kill the children and the women, we think evil, which as I say it out loud, yeah. However, he doesn't have to be evil if that's the way he was raised religion-wise. He's like, oh, I would love to help you. Oh, how can I help you? By breaking the neck of this small animal and sacrificing its blood on my body and getting holy powers to heal you. That's so confusing. That is like an enigma, right? No, is that right? That's not right. It's a contradiction, but is it an enigma? What is an enigma? Am I crazy? Enigma. Enigman. Oh, that was borderline racist right there. That was... All right. A person or thing that is mysterious, puzzling, or difficult to understand. He is an enigma. I like it. So we're going to call him the Holy Enigma. Enigma. The Divine Enigma. That sounds better. Oh, it was another one. Okay. All right, so just for reference, this is the VEK model that we're kind of using as we're driving this character forward. And I can't stop getting the vibes, as I've said multiple times already, the bad guy from Road to El Dorado, Aztec, Mayan priest. We selected the high priest, so it's cleric on cleric action, right? But we're not necessarily going with the shining of the light, the we're not doing that. We're going more for the, again, sacrificing life, people, animals, what have you, in order to invoke the power of the divine. Now, a weird question comes up of, is that inherently evil if he is in fact not evil, but that is what is required of his religion? Maybe that's why he decided to adventure. Maybe he himself discovered that he is in fact a divine enigma. And in order to find out more of himself, his religion, where it falls in the grand scheme of Vera, things like that, maybe he is an adventurous thought leader, or not a thought leader because people see him as an outsider because of his now self-realization of his religion, of his self, of his entire being. And that's why he started traveling, to discover some sort of enlightenment as to whether or not he, his people, their beliefs are in fact inherently evil. God, that's deep. That's like Mariana Trench deep. That is downright damn deep arena for a character creation. But I think going to that depth on a character, if you were to role play said character, going to said depth will in fact help you embody the personality, the thoughts, the decisions said character would make, because it provokes your mind so much that you're really into it, you're really digging into it. And situations will come up when you're role playing where you honestly don't know how you would react or how the character would react. And I think you simply embrace those moments of confusion, because I think it makes the role playing and the character come to life more. Like, I like to think when I role play of my character as if they were in a book. So if I'm confused, my character can be confused. Because in books, a character jumps off the pages at me when they become more real. And when they become more real is when they show the human condition, when they get confused. You know, when the writer or the author does a great job of depicting the confusion or the misunderstandings or the inability to comprehend something into a character. And I think as a role player, you bringing that to that really can bring the character to life. Now, I know that's a little deep when we're talking about role playing in a video game or in a tabletop situation. But I also think if you don't take it that deep and you just like, you know all of that and you think about it, then like you go to play, and I think it makes the actual game that much more fun, because I feel as though I am achieving something as said character, or I am progressing the plot in a book or something that I would just, it brings me more joy that way. It makes it easier to deal with, and it just makes it easier to play, and I really enjoy it. You know, I always have a hard time coming up with accents for characters, but their personalities and their backstories, what drives them, things like that, I don't have so much problem with. So got a little sidetracked there, but this was a really fun, this is relatively quick character creation session. We're getting a little smoother at them. However, this is a high priest, which is cleric primary, cleric secondary. And knowing that you can pick a death domain as a augment for a secondary cleric, we decided just to take that all the way through the whole character. So we've got like imagine like a dark death domain cleric, secondary dark death domain cleric. So you can pretty much fill in the blanks where you think his abilities would lie or what his ability would be. I'm almost feeling like, would he be DPS similar to a shadow priest, or would he still be all healing? He is a high priest. So whatever he does do, he would do better. Whatever he does do, he would do better. So if it was more of a DPS kind of shadow priest feel from WoW, I could see that too, but I wasn't really thinking like that. I mean, that kind of changes things. But I like to think more of still a support, a healer, a buffer, getting rid of debuffs. Perhaps he would be more into debuffing his opponents. But I do like the idea that this real puzzling identity crisis for this character being what we would say is usually an inherently quote-unquote good, neutral good, on the righteous side of everything class as a cleric. I know they don't have to be, but just usually. And then taking that and letting him still be a good person, inherently good person towards other people's, wanting to help, wanting to heal. However, his religion, his culture, and everything like that is like sacrifice small children, women, and elderly. You know? So I think that this nickname that we came up with, this title, really encompasses that, and I think it really brings together a really cool and complex character, potentially the most complex that we've made in these sessions so far. So that really does wrap up this session. So what that does is that gives us a male VEK, a high priest, which is cleric secondary, and cleric primary, and I give you Monty Bloodstar, the Divine Enigma. Thanks for sticking around.